Welcome, Tammy Stewart. Tammy is a friend of mine. She's a colleague. I have a deep respect for her. She's an amazing woman. Is deeply passionate about detoxing your home so that you can detox your body. And Tammy is going to give us an amazing education on all of that today. So, Tammy, welcome to the summit. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm excited. And honestly, my kids are like, 27 to 35, 28 to 35. My kids are older. And so this has been fun for me to look back to school and what we did and what worked
Yeah, absolutely.
and,
Right.
and how to
Um,
make it easy. Has to be, it has to work.
yeah, it does have to work. Like you can't
If
it
it's
can't be complicated.
It can't be complicated. You could have the best idea in the world. You could have perfection sitting here, but if you can't implement it into your everyday, it's not going to work. And we want to sustain it long term. And so that kind of changes our perspective also. So, what we're going to talk about today is, first of all, we're going to focus on progress, not perfection. And I've got a lot of visual aids here. Some of them are things that we do sometimes, these are not things that we might do every day. We're focusing on progress, not perfection. And the other priority, when you're starting with the standard American lifestyle and you're moving into a detoxed, or I would say purified lifestyle, you have to think about substitutes. Because if you just take away everything, especially from your kids, all at once, they're going to rebel. They're not going to be happy, and that's not sustainable. We want them to be happy. So we want to look for substitutes. And I'm going to start also with just some basic premises. I believe that God designed the body to heal when we remove the interference and we give it what it needs. And I know, Laurie, you see that with your clients every
Yes.
single time, right?
Yes,
And,
every
and
time.
and people argue with me and they'll say, like, anytime somebody says 100%, I quit listening. And I'm, you know what? Let me think about that. And then I repeat myself. God designed the body to heal every single time when we give it what it needs and we remove the interference. Interference is toxicity. Giving it what it needs is nourishment, but that's not just food. That's a safe environment. You think about Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's what the body needs. So remove the interference, give the body what it needs. And we are living in the most toxic time, in the most toxic country in the world, in history. And so detox is something you can't just do a 30-day cleanse. You have to remove the toxins from your everyday environment. Most of us eat almost every day, especially our kids. So we're going to start there. And then second, our household environment, or maybe you think about your car or your personal space. Those are things that a lot of that we have complete control over, especially if you're homeschooling. If you're in public school, you're going to get some toxic exposures, but there are things that you can do to minimize it. And if you think about you're at home in bed 8 hours every night, that's a third of your time.
Hmm.
So you can prioritize things like that that we do have complete control over. Then the things that we don't have control over won't affect us as much. So those are my basic assumptions. Progress, not perfection. God designed the body to heal, and substitutes. So then, um, Laurie, do you want me to just stop at the end for questions?
That's totally up to you. Like if people have
Okay.
questions, you can throw them in the chat, and if they're
Yeah,
appropriate,
yeah.
you can answer them,
Yeah,
as we
that'll
go
work
along.
because
Yeah,
I can keep my eye on the chat. I've got that on my monitor. So if somebody
perfect.
asks a question, I know sometimes it's something really short and quick about, what I'm talking about right in that moment. So I'm happy to stop and answer those. So let's think about how to prioritize. Again, I'm thinking about someone who might be starting from scratch. The things that I would prioritize might be frequency of exposure. So let's go back to our environment. You're in the same bed 8 hours every night. So let's be sure that we have organic sheets. Now, here's something that we learned that I was very discouraged about. Bamboo or 100% organic bamboo sheets are full of chemicals.
That made me so mad, Tammy.
I was so discouraged. So I had bought sheets for all of my kids for Christmas. Thankfully, they've been washed a while, and so we're just going to think, okay, maybe we've washed out all the toxins. But I'll tell you, my favorite sheet is, and I can go type in the chat too, packed organics. I love packed organic sheets. The thing I love about them, they're thick and soft. I do like Lifekind, but the problem with Lifekind is I found them to be really thin
Mm.
and they didn't last as long. Packed sheets are going to last a long time. I would spend my money on sheets being organic before I would spend my money on my towel. So that goes back to frequency of exposure. I'm going to use my towel, 20 seconds? And I'm in my sheets all night long. I'm in my underwear every day, 24/7. I wear underwear. So I buy organic panties. I have not found organic cotton bras, but I'm trying. And I've got some cotton exercise bras that I try to wear. So frequency of exposure, length of exposure, size of exposure. So if I'm thinking about personal care products, I'm going to change what I use on my whole body first. That's going to be my priority as I start to make changes. You can just go throw away everything and start from scratch. You can do that. I kind of did that. And the benefit of that is that you're making an investment in your health. I believe my body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, and I am the steward of that temple. And I believe that God told Adam and Eve to be stewards of the earth. And I believe that some of what we're struggling with in our country with disease, we are reaping what we've been sowing for generations. So, some of the things that you have that are toxic, you can't get your money back on that, but you can stop the damage. A lot of times with household cleaning products, you can throw away everything and just substitute baking soda and vinegar. That costs nothing. And you're stopping that toxic exposure. So one other priority is think about man-made toxins versus naturally occurring toxins. And eliminate the man-made toxins as much as possible because the body knows, while mercury is horribly toxic, the body knows what to do with mercury. The body knows what to do with lead. The body doesn't recognize genetically modified foods. That's not food by God, for the body by God. The body doesn't recognize man-made chemicals. So when we can eliminate some of those things from our daily environment, that's going to go a long way towards keeping us healthier. So if anybody has questions about some of those priorities, drop that in the chat. I'm going to move on to foods. And then I'm going to give you kind of a big picture. We're going to talk about foods, personal care, household cleaning products, and I have some lunchbox ideas. That's what all of my visual aids are for. That was fun. This has been fun doing this for you.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be fun stuff. Okay, so food by God for the body by God. When I teach 5-year-olds at homeschool groups, they can absorb that. And they'll come to me at church the next week and say, Miss Tammy, is this and that and the other food by God for my body by God? They absorb that and they can own that and understand that. And when you can give your kids a feeling of being in control, a feeling that they have some choices that they can make themselves, that's really, really powerful because we don't want to raise robots. We want to raise independent, self-sufficient, responsible adults. And that starts when they're little. So first of all, let's think about the law of biological concentration. It's a fancy way to say, here's an example. I'm going to eat a salad. So bowl of lettuce with stuff on it. On the other hand, I'm going to eat a hamburger patty. How much grass did that cow have to eat to give me that quarter pound? He ate a lot of grass for a long time. Plus, toxins are stored in fat. So if you're going to make one change in your diet, the first change should be substituting. How easy is it? Nobody in your house will even know you did it. You don't have to have an argument or a discussion. Just go do it. Change the meats that you eat. 100% grass-fed beef, 100% pastured poultry. With poultry, be very careful. For example, with chickens and eggs, if you're at the farmer's market and they're pastured, they're probably bringing those chickens into the coop at night with some feed. Very often they forget that there's soy, genetically modified soy and genetically modified corn in the feed. So that's a really important question to ask about poultry. So we want healthy animal products and good fats. I'm going to kind of chase a rabbit just for a second and address a really popular supplement is omega-3s. People say, oh, the omega-3s, they're so good for your brain. Well, I'm going to argue with that, and I'm going to teach you why. I'm going to keep it simple so you can go teach your friends and your family. I had to teach a woman who has been a natural health care practitioner for about 50 years. And I had to teach her this last week. It's shocking how many people don't know this. So if you think about 100% naturally raised foods, you're going to have a high amount of omega-6 and a low amount of omega-3. If we think about the organs in the body, the life begins and ends on the cell membrane. And that cell membrane wants a 4-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. Your brain wants a 4-to-1 ratio. Some of your organs want a 1-to-1 ratio. But here's the standard American diet is about 20 omega-6s for every 1 omega-3. So people take an omega-3 supplement. First of all, it's probably rancid by the time they get it in the bottle because those fats are very fragile and they're designed to stay, for example, in the fish, not take it out of the fish with heat and put it in a package and put it on a shelf. So first of all, it's already rancid. Second, you take an omega and it puts you back in balance. That's why people feel good at first. This happened to one of my social media followers recently. She kept on taking that omega-3, and I taught her, you need to throw that away, and she did, and it put her back in balance. She immediately felt better. So you need 4 omega-6s for every 1 omega-3. 100% grass-fed beef is the perfect food for that ratio. And then another thing about omega supplements, if you look at how much of the omega-3s are in a fish versus how much is in a supplement, you could never eat enough fish to put that much of that kind of fat in your body. So that's just unnatural. So just think back to food by God for the body by God. Think back to ancient man. And can I go back to what ancient man was doing? If you can, that's a really good idea. So number 1, choose the right animal products. Number 2, add good fats. Your brain is 80% fat. Your cell membrane is made of fats. That's the most important organ. We're going to call it an organ in your body, most important tissue. Those are made of fats. The cell membrane, mostly saturated fat and cholesterol. So we need to be sure that we get some good fat and that those fats are from high quality sources. So when we think about our kids, my son, my oldest son was, it was frustrating at school. He would bring home 100 on a paper, and the next day with the same subject, he would bring home like a 20. And I kept going to the teachers saying, this isn't right. Something's not right here. And they said, oh, he's wonderful. He's very well behaved. He's a really good student. Well, okay, that's true, but he needed more good fats in his brain, and nobody was able to tell me that, teach me that. We need good fats for the brain so we can focus. Someone in our family has a 4-year-old who is the most crazy spastic kid, and he's always wanting to eat sugary things. That just makes your brain crazy. We need good fats. And when you add foods to your family's diet, that's easier for them mentally than when you start trying to take things away. So let's just add some good fats. Butter. Butter is brain food, not margarine, real butter. My favorite is Maple Hill. I should have brought a sample of Maple Hill. I like it because it's grass-fed. Buy it at the farmer's market if you can. They don't have that at my farmer's market, so I go to Whole Foods and I get Maple Hill. So we want good butter. We want coconut oil or MCT oil. Those products are very high in ketones, and that is the number one food for your brain. So if you're ever feeling a little spacey, like you can't focus, or if you've got a really challenging mental exercise coming up, maybe you've got a test coming up, then I would say maybe even you just eat a spoonful of coconut oil. You can even get some exogenous ketones, but I would rather stick to food instead of supplements. Because when man starts intervening, making supplements, you have to be more cautious. With food, coconut oil is just, it's coconut oil. It's pretty easy, not refined. So you want unrefined coconut oil. The one that I prefer is Wildly Organic, but you have to buy that online at their website. I like Dr. Bronner's. That's a pretty good brand. You can get that at most stores. On my website, Health for a Purpose, on the shopping page, you can see some of these ideas. So we've got good fats, butter, coconut oil, ghee is a really good fat. When you're eating 100% grass-fed meat, pastured poultry, you're going to be getting really good fats, leaving the skin on the chicken. Those are good fats for feeding your brain so that you can focus. Another thing that you can do for focus is essential oils. I had a friend who I happen to use doTERRA. That's not the only good brand out there, but it is one of the good brands. And they have a blend called Focus. And her son was probably about 10 years old, and she ran out of it. She had it in the car, and he would put it on every morning when he got out of the car to go into school. And she had forgotten to order, and she didn't have it, and he had a meltdown. Mom, I can't go to school without my oil. And his grades immediately dropped. Now, is that because that's what he expected? Maybe. But essential oils are so easy. So easy. Just put some essential oils on the back of your neck, put them on your clothing, put them in your backpack. That's going to really help you with some focus. The third priority for foods is that we want to eliminate most grains. Grains turn to sugar in 4 seconds in your body. So yes, you want to eliminate artificial sugars, eliminate sugar as much as possible. If you're eating sugar, it should be natural, but grains cause inflammation and dysfunction in the brain more than sugar does. So then people ask me, well, then what am I going to eat? Right?
So true.
Meat and vegetables and fruit, food by God. Food by God for the body by God. So easy. So with grains, there are some that you can eat sometimes. If you eat a lot of grains every day, you're going to have a problem with brain inflammation. You're going to have a problem with focus and with attitude and self-control and mood and things like that, all of your hormones. So the cat. Speaking of the cat must have gotten this. I do like Silver Hills. I get this at Natural Grocers. They in the bread section. At Whole Foods, they tend to have this in the freezer section. You have to search for it, but this one is a heritage grain. Seven Hills makes several different kinds of breads, and they're sprouted. So you want to, if you go back to Ezekiel, God taught the Israelites to sprout the grains. So these are ancient grains, number one. Number two, they're sprouted. There is no wheat, no genetically modified, no hybridized wheat in this bread. It's ancient grains. So for your kids, this is a really, really good substitute. For you, if you wanted to be in ketosis, which is the best way to strengthen your brain power, I like base culture. Again, in the freezer section in most health food stores. I like the keto bread. And this one is not as soft as Seven Hills, but my kids will all eat it. Now, my kids have been on this journey for almost 20 years. So their taste buds have changed and their willingness is higher. So those are some really good substitutes
Tammy,
for.
can I interrupt you for a second? Can you talk about that? Because there's a lot of moms are like, well, my kids just won't eat it. So can you address how you basically trained your kids' taste buds to be different? Like, how did you navigate that with them?
That's a good question. So in the beginning, my kids were about 12 and 15 and 18. So I had high school, middle school, elementary school. So I had a wide range. And I did make lunch for them every day going to school. They carried their lunchbox. So they were willing. We have a home where our children, I mean, honestly, we're very blessed. They were cooperative. I'm fully aware that they could have gone to school and thrown that away, but they didn't have their own money to go buy lunch. So and I don't think they starved. So I think they ate what I gave them. What I did at first was substitutes. So instead of having yogurt, the sugary yogurt with all the fruit and stuff in it, I would buy plain yogurt and I might put stevia and honey and almond extract and vanilla in it. So it was a nice substitute. Maybe I would put berries on it. So we would have that for breakfast. And I used to bake all the time. So we were accustomed to having banana bread and pumpkin bread and blueberry muffins and things like. We never ate cereal because I had that growing up and I didn't want that ever again. But we would have breads and yogurt for breakfast. So instead of those typical breads that I used to make, I started making substitutes, and I would make all of those bread products with almond flour
Mm.
and coconut flour. You could use sprouted spelt flour. So that's still wheat, but it's ancient, it's organic, and it's sprouted. So if you want to bake, those are some good transitions. My daughter, Laurie, extremely discerning. If I had 2 tablespoons of coconut flour in it, she knew
Yeah.
immediately, and she did not want it. As she got older, she was able to say, "No, Mom, I don't like that. I don't want that." And that's okay because most of the time she was very cooperative.
Hmm.
So I would use a different recipe. It's Lori, it's so much easier now than it was 18 years
Oh
ago.
my goodness, so much easier.
So much easier. There are things you can buy at the store. Now, I would go to my YouTube channel and look at the video very recently about, we've been doing a series about gluten-free foods. The typical gluten-free food is horrible for you. Horrible. It's made with tapioca starch and potato starch and white rice flour and bad grain, bad fats. And so that is a super sugar. It's going to make your brain crazy, and it's going to put bad fat in your body. So the outside of your cell, 2 layers of fat, when that is bad fat, it takes a year for your body to naturally detoxify that. So if we say, I'm going to give my child a treat after school today, we're going to drive by McDonald's and just buy French fries. It's just once, it's a treat. Okay, do that. You don't have to be perfect, but understand it's going to interfere with their brain power for a year. That's a long time.
And why a year, Tammy?
It takes a year for the body to naturally detoxify those fats out of the cell membrane.
Because their half-life is so long?
Yeah, the half-life is that long. It just takes a long time for the body to get rid of that. You can be protective and eat some good fats. If you're going to eat bad fat on your birthday, put some good fats in your body first, and it kind of protects you from those bad fats because we don't have to be perfect.
Right.
But fat is a really, really important one. We need good fats. Add good fats, get rid of the bad fats. Does that answer the question?
Yes, I think
And
people would be like, why would that stay in my body for so long?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I said I could see the chat, and I can, but I confess I'm not looking at it. So
That's okay. I've been answering questions. It's
thank
fine.
you. Okay, and you just raise your hand and stop me, interrupt me if there's a question there. Um, okay, another thing that you could consider, depending on the age of your child and how much emotional and mental energy mom has, and whether mom has a partner that will help. If you can go into ketosis part of the time, I would really challenge you to try that and see what a difference that makes with your kids, with their brain power. Ketosis means high fat, low carb. And if you go extreme, you can buy an app for your telephone. I like the Chronometer app. The logo is a red apple, CRON-O-METER, Chronometer. You can also get the Keto Mojo ketone glucose meter to check your ketones. My kids would not have let me do that. They would not have wanted me to prick their finger.
Mine either.
I
No, there's
know,
no
but
way on earth that that would
no.
ever happen.
So choose your fights. If you can get them to try to eat a ketone diet, ignore the blood, or maybe just test it once after you've been on a high fat, low carb diet for a few weeks. Test it once and see what happens. So low carb, high fat can be really good for the brain because it puts you into ketosis. So that's most of what I wanted to say about foods. And for the sake of time, I do have foods to look at. I have lunchbox ideas. However, I'm going to transition into personal care and household cleaning products for a little while. And then with our remaining time, we can come back and talk about lunchbox ideas. Is that a good plan?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
We're,
Yeah. I
we're
think people are excited about your body care products.
good. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're about halfway through. So I think that's going to be good. Personal care, household cleaning products. And I'm going to kind of transition thinking about what kind of products I use with lunch boxes. You want stainless steel containers, bamboo. Don't use plastic forks. Plastic can get into every organ in your body. We just recently attended a class where they said 65% of men's testes well, no, that was spike proteins. Most men have plasticizers in their sperm. So we have to avoid plasticizers. It can get into every organ. The plastics can get into your brain. So we have to work on eliminating plastic as much as possible. So let's just use some bamboo utensils or stainless steel utensils. These were unheard of 20 years ago, but now when you check out at the health food store, they're right there on the counter. So super easy things you can put in your lunchbox.
Can I ask a question, Tammy?
Yes.
So you said bamboo sheets and stuff are super toxic. So does that make the bamboo, like, how do you know that that spoon is okay?
That's a good question. It's hard. Where the thing about the bamboo sheets is that they have to use the chemicals to make it soft.
Right.
Same thing with bamboo clothing, where this is hard, so they haven't treated it. Silicone is a good idea if it's not heated. So I thought I was going to be really cool when we were going on vacation. I got these little square silicone. It does come with a lid. And I put mayonnaise in one, and I put ketchup in one, and I put mustard because we were going to make our own hamburgers on our vacation. And I packaged it all up. And when I got to our destination, it had gotten squished and the lid popped off.
Oh no.
These are not a good idea. Don't buy these. They don't work. If you can find one where the lid might screw on, maybe, but this did not work. This is plastic, but it's hard. The worst plastics are the soft, squishy ones. Think Ziploc bags, water bottles. Those are squishy. This is very hard, and it has a silicone lid. I got this on Thrive Market. So for a lunchbox, especially if you have a teenage girl and she wants to eat salads, because that's kind of popular, then this is great for salad dressing. So those are some good ideas. Avoiding plastics in your environment. Also, unbleached paper towels. They're brown. I think it's 7th generation. I buy them on Thrive Market. And then you can also use parchment paper.
Why unbleached, Tammy?
Because that bleach, it will damage your thyroid. It blocks the iodine receptors, and you have to have iodine for your thyroid to work. And the higher your iodine is, the higher your IQ is. And anything, if you think back to the periodic table of the elements back, in high school, and anything in a column binds to everything else in that column. So in the same column with iodine, we have bromine, which is flame retardants, chlorine, bleaching paper towels, and fluoride are all in the same column. So all of those halogens block the iodine receptor and damage the thyroid in the brain. So
Okay.
iodine is one of the nutrients that we need in every cell in our bodies. then this is a paper bag. So you can, instead of that plastic Ziploc bag, you can put your sandwich in here and fold it closed, and it will stay fresh until lunch. It will be fine. And then you're getting rid of some of those plastics. So anything you can do to get rid of plastics will be very good for your kids' brains and for their focus. The silicone things, I don't love these because
I don't either. I really, really don't.
they're so hard to clean.
Yeah.
They're hard to close.
Yeah. They
They're
don't
not,
stay closed.
no, they're not efficient. Well, I'll tell you one thing. The one from Pampered Chef stays closed better.
Mm.
It sticks better than these. These are all expensive also. So, paper, if you can use paper, that can be good. If you have to use aluminum foil, you could wrap your food in paper and then wrap that in aluminum foil so that it protects your food from the foil.
Right. Because you
So
don't want the aluminum.
you don't want
Because
that
even
touching.
even when your food touches aluminum,
Mm,
you're going to get some transfer, kind of like plastic. I mean, it just is what
exactly.
it is. Let's say you don't grill in aluminum
Mm-hmm.
or bake in aluminum. If you're going to put
Oh,
aluminum on, because I know there's some things that need aluminum foil in your oven.
yeah,
They just
yeah,
do. And
they
so
do.
then I'll put parchment paper, which you could
Right.
argue there's some plastics in parchment paper, but use the unbleached. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you got to do the best with what we got right now.
Right.
So, but I put the parchment paper unbleached and then I'll put aluminum foil on top of it. Or if my husband's going to grill because he loves to grill, I mean, he loves things in the aluminum. So I put the I put the parchment paper in there first, and then we wrap it in the aluminum. So then you get the heat, conduction from the aluminum foil and stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. And we don't want aluminum because that damages our brain. It causes Alzheimer's, dementia. Aluminum is a very bad thing.
And it's a huge anxiety trigger. So if your kids are high in aluminum, they're gonna have higher anxiety. They're gonna have a lower IQ and they're gonna have a harder time learning. So it's the piece of that learning disability that goes on and autism and those kind of things. So the more we can reduce these, and I love the fact you're showing all these examples. It's amazing. So hopefully this is encouraging to everybody. The more we can have that, reduce that exposure, the better ability their body has to detox what's already in there.
Yeah, exactly. And if we think about the poison is in the dose, think about your body as having a bucket inside there. Women have smaller buckets than men because we are hormonal, we have monthly cycles, we reproduce. So think of your body as a bucket. You're born with 4 generations of toxins. I have lead in me from my mother, her mother, her mother, her mother, and mercury and all kinds of things. So you're born with toxins. And then over the course of your life, your toxic bucket fills and fills, and then it starts overflowing. When it starts to overflow is when we start to see symptoms and diagnoses.
Yeah.
So if your bucket is, in order to keep your bucket from getting full, what do we need to get out of there? Anything. Remove any of it,
Anything.
just so that it's not overflowing, and let's not fill it up to begin with. So hopefully, see, our children are born with more toxins in them. 15, 20 years ago, they were saying that was the first generation of kids that was not expected to outlive their parents.
Which is really sad.
That's really scary. I can't even think about that. I'm hoping my kids are going to be the exception to that, or maybe they're a little bit older. So let's just not fill up their buckets. Let's be preventive. And all of these things, if you do a little bit at a time, then it's manageable. If you expect yourself to go make all of these changes tomorrow, you're going to be overwhelmed and paralyzed, and a paralyzed brain, an overwhelmed brain is paralyzed. It doesn't take action. So just go back to the beginning and think about priorities. The things that are on your whole body, your skin, the things that are in your environment, especially your bed at night, the things that you use frequently. Those are the things to start with. And then in your food, start with your fats. So, okay, so let's think about personal care products. Basically, what you want is a short list of ingredients, words you can pronounce. I'm going to teach you the principles because the products change constantly, and all of us live in different areas. I have access to natural grocers, Whole Foods, barely. I love Thrive Market because I would rather shop online than I love buying groceries. I love shopping, but I don't have time for that. And Thrive Market is easy, especially if you don't live in the city where you don't have access to a lot of those things. So short list of ingredients, words you can pronounce, avoid fragrance. Anything that says fragrance is an extreme toxin. It is an excitotoxin. It excites your brain cells to death. Well, before they die, they're up here just bouncing around. You can't focus if your brain is full of excitotoxins. And you could also just Google a list of excitotoxins. In the beginning, I did that, and I printed it on my shopping list so that I learned words like autolyzed yeast and malt and lots of things like that that are excitotoxins. Those are words I can pronounce, but those are excitotoxins. So that's a really important thing for our kids to be able to focus and do well in school. We want to nourish their brain, not excite their brain to death. If you think about back to your skin, let's think about your clothing. Let's change our laundry soap. The easiest thing that I have done in a long time is I bought an ozone washer, and you can get it at Pure O3 online. It's probably on my website also. And it's about this big, and you just hang it on the wall like a picture. Just put 2 screws in the wall and it hangs on the wall. And then you take the water hose and attach it to the ozone machine, which then goes into your washing machine. Very easy. You will wash in cold water with no soap and no fabric softener. And my towels are softer now than they used to be. So you're going to save money, and you're going to avoid that anything that lasts, any kind of scent that lasts a long time, it means it's much more toxic. Like the fragrance in the fabric softener. I'm going to give you an extreme example. We recently had to clean out my mother-in-law's house. And in her closet where she had quilts that her mother made. So my husband remembers his grandmother making these quilts. They were in the closet with scented Swiffers. I cannot tell you how many times I have washed. Some of them are not going to come clean. I can't get that smell out of them. And if you have friends who walk past and you can smell their fabric softener, that's the worst because they're absorbing it on their body 24/7. Their sheets and their clothes, all of those things. So let's change the things that cover the whole body. Sheets, clothing, lotion. Oh, I should have brought my lotion down here. I order it on Amazon, and it's called Miracle, and it's Roman numeral 2. Miracle 2 lotion. And it's white, and the ingredients, very short list of ingredients, words you can pronounce. It's a little more expensive than most, but maybe that'll motivate you to use it less often. But it is amazing. It works beautifully. As my body gets more and more healthy, I need lotion less and less often. But that would be a really important one. Another really important is deodorant, because it's especially for a woman right there at the lymph nodes at the breast. So the one that I love right now, I get on Thrive Market, it's Humble, Humble, and there's a stick that's in cardboard. It's brand new. I've just started using it this year. That let me get rid of a plastic because your deodorant's usually in plastic. Now, some of them, Weleda makes a deodorant that you can spray, and it's in a glass bottle. Those are my husband and I, those are our favorites right now that work really well. And I get stinky. And so if the deodorant works for me and our family, it's no fair. The girls get stinky and the guys never did. It's just, that's the way it is. So those are some really good ideas to start with. For children, if you think about bath time is fun. You want all those bubbles and you want those scents. You can make your own. Make your own bubble bath with some citric acid. You can just Google the recipe online. I love the website DIYnaturals.com. We've got lots of ideas. Mountain Rose Herbs is another great website where you can get recipes. That may be overwhelming for you to think, oh my goodness, I have to make breakfast and I have to make lunch and now I have to make bubble bath. Are you kidding me? Or you can buy it and just maybe don't use it as often, or maybe use a little bit of liquid soap. Dr. Bronner's is an excellent liquid soap, and they have a couple of different kinds. I typically buy the unscented baby soap, and then if I put it in another bottle, and I might put different essential oils. So if it's in a nighttime with a bath, I'll put lavender. If it's in the morning for the kids are going to get up in the morning and take a shower before they go to school, maybe you want rosemary and lemon and peppermint, because those are stimulating and help you to wake up. So soap is a really big one. For teenagers, think about the middle school boys' locker room. Oh my goodness. It smelled, when my kids were there, it smelled like Axe cologne.
So bad.
Awful. So I would rather smell funk
Yeah.
than Axe. So awful. You can buy cologne that is not poison. You really can. One brand that I like, and this may be a little expensive, is Alitura, Alitura. They make some for men and some for women. You can just use essential oils as perfume. If you want to get really fancy, you can make your own blend. That might be a fun thing for you to do homeschooling in science class, because there's a specific way you can do it. There's 3 different layers of scent. Some linger and some are more volatile. And so you could make a whole science project out of, let's all make our own perfume and make a custom and put your name on it. And you could even give it away as Christmas gifts. So that could be a really fun homeschool science project. Another thing I think about with makeup is, number one, what's on the biggest thing? It's my foundation. Number 2, what do I use every day? Some people might not use foundation every day, but they might use mascara every day. Then change your mascara. So change the things that you use every day, change to the things that you use on a large surface area. Specifically, if we're thinking about makeup, change the things that are near your mucus glands, your eyes and your lips. So in that analogy, your blush might be the last thing, or your eyebrow pencil might be the last thing that you change. Because I know those things are expensive and you might not want to throw them away and start from scratch. You might just replace them. When you run out, buy a different one next time. A good website is 100% pure. And again, a lot of these things are on my website, so that's a really good one. Okay, so we talked about personal care products a little bit. We've been in the household. We've talked about laundry. We've talked about scent. We've talked about sheets. And let's talk a little bit more about cleaning. We kind of touched on it, but if you just I remember when the kids were little, and it was probably after I had quit my job and I was staying home full time. And so I was really concentrating on my budget. And I realized when I walked down the household cleaning aisle, I'm spending like, and this was 30 years ago, I'm spending $5 or $10 on toilet cleaner and bathroom cleaner and all of these cleaners that I keep buying. And a lot of times we think that investing in our health is expensive. This is an area where it will save you money. Just throw those away and buy vinegar and baking soda. Go to Costco Sam's, get the enormous thing of vinegar and baking soda. So when you're cleaning your shower, spray it with vinegar water and throw baking soda on it. How easy is that? Or, Laurie, I'm going to follow your example. Or, I'm going to write this down. Super, super fast recipe that I love. It's really easy to remember. It is half a cup of baking soda. And then you've got hydrogen peroxide and liquid soap. I use my dish soap. A fourth a cup of each of those. So half a cup baking soda, fourth a cup hydrogen peroxide, fourth a cup of dish liquid. And you can kind of change up the ratios to make it more thin or more thick. You can use it to clean everything. When my house cleaner comes, which is a luxury that I have right now, is I have a house cleaner. I make it before she gets here, and that's the only thing she uses everywhere to clean cleaning the mirrors is just vinegar water to clean the mirrors, or just buy a Norwex cloth. And then cleaning the toilet, if you make that mixture really thick, you can pour it in the toilet and clean the toilet. Then you can take a rag and use it to clean the shower and clean the sink and clean the bathtub and all of those things with one cleaner that might have cost you, I don't know, 20 or 30 cents. Takes you a minute to make that. So that's a really, really powerful tool to help you get rid of all those poisons that you are breathing 24/7 in your home, especially when you're homeschooled. You're there, you're at home a lot more. So that's a really important one. If you want to add essential oils, that's great. You can do that. So I think those were my notes. Does anybody have a question about personal care products or household cleaning products?
If
Because the
you were
next
to change one thing, what would you do for your personal care?
soap, the soap that I use, well, no. Um, I started to say soap because you use that on your whole body, but I don't anymore. The only thing I use soap for is the smelly parts.
Right, me too.
So I don't spend much on soap. I would say shampoo and conditioner
Yeah.
because depending on how often, especially if you shampoo every day, because the pores in your head are really open, they're
Mm.
big, and there's a lot of circulation there. So your shampoo and conditioner sit there and they get distributed all over your body. Unfortunately, I think that's the hardest thing. That's the hardest one to find truly natural. What brand do you use, Laurie?
Well, I rotate through them. The one we're trying right now is what is it? Pure Zero.
Okay,
And I
good.
found it at Target. I
Nice.
don't think it's 100% perfect,
Okay,
but
progress.
it's good. I mean,
Yeah,
for the most part. So
yeah.
just trying some different
Giovanni,
things, and it's a decent price point.
great. I
Yeah.
think
So it's a better option than, Jergens or I don't
Tammy.
know, Aveda or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah,
A Cure is a better brand. Giovanni
yeah.
is a better brand. The one I use is InnerSense Organics.
I love that one.
You can order it on Amazon. You can go to their website and tell them you can do a questionnaire about your hair, and they'll recommend exactly what products they recommend that you use on your hair. And yes, some of their products are scented, but they say it is essential oils. I'm very chemically sensitive, and I don't ever have a problem with their products. So those are good. The most recent one I saw is called Fountainhead, and it
Oh,
comes in a glass bottle with a little rubber base, and then you just buy refills for it.
oh, that's nice.
Used it a couple of times and I liked it. I don't love the way it smells because I think it's got tea tree oil in it, and
Yeah,
I
see,
don't
I don't like that either.
like tree oil, but it
Yeah.
doesn't make my hair smell. It's
Oh,
just that moment that you're in the shower.
yeah, yeah.
So, and then deodorant. Those are the things that I would prioritize.
Yeah, definitely. How about your house?
Bleach. Get rid of the bleach. Well, no, scent.
Scent. That's what
Candles.
I would do. No
Yes.
scent. If you can't do anything else, just buy like
Get rid
all
of
unscented.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
it.
That's gonna be a huge improvement. No candles. If you're gonna do a candle, do a beeswax candle.
Yeah,
You don't want to put your essential oil in it though. It can damage the essential oil, and then you're breathing. You're thinking you're doing a good thing, but you're maybe not.
yeah. You could
So,
get a diffuser for the essential
you
oils.
absolutely can. That's a
Yeah.
perfect plan. And no Glade plugins at all. Those are the worst. And fabric softener sheets that have scent. Those
Yeah.
are the
Yeah.
worst.
Just like if you can't change anything else, go unscented.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And get rid of your cleaning products and use baking soda and vinegar because it's so
It's
cheap.
so cheap.
So
So
easy
like
and very good.
insanely cheap. And I put in the chat there too your link to the ozone,
Oh,
laundry
good.
thing. And if
Yeah.
you add up what you spend in laundry detergent, it is
Uh-huh.
well worth the investment.
For sure.
Because in laundry
Yeah.
detergent's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
it's a little nutty.
yeah. It's crazy. Okay, so let's think about lunchbox. And we're going to 3 o'clock, right? We've got
Yes,
12
ma'am.
Okay. So we already talked about the literal box itself, the box and the bags and things. And I have ideas for a kind of a wide variety of ages. And again, this is not perfection. Potato chips are not healthy. This is not going to nourish your body.
That
Okay.
is
It
true.
may nourish your soul and your brain, but if we can do it, make a substitute. The thing I like about these is you can now get them in little individual bags.
Yeah.
So it's non-GMO. I'm pretty sure it's verified. Yeah, verified non-GMO. That's
Hmm.
more than organic sometimes. And it's fried in avocado oil. Coconut oil would be better.
Yep.
That's a little harder to find. So change the chips. Instead of telling your kids they can't have chips, give them fewer chips and give them less bad chips. Then we already talked about bread. We want in our lunch, we want protein and fat. So anything you can do to add proteins and fats. Eggs are great. Make boiled eggs, peel them, and then be sure and put an ice pack in your lunchbox. And you have to think about if you're fixing lunches at 7 and your high school kids are eating at 2, that's a problem. That's a
Hmm.
long time. But if it's your kindergartner who's eating at 10 or 11, you can do different things there. So eggs are a great idea. I recommend pastured is more, that's the number one most important thing. Pastured is more important than organic.
Why?
And because you want the chicken out there eating natural stuff. Where when it says organic, they're giving it organic feed. Well, you can buy organic soy, and that's still genetically modified. Organic wheat is hybridized. Organic corn is genetically modified. So you want pastured is the most important thing. Then I like Mary's crackers. This is something that it took a little bit of time for my kids, but all of my kids will eat these now. My husband doesn't love them, but that's okay. He can go along without crackers. You want some cultured foods because that's good for your gut. Your gut is your second brain. More messages come from your gut to your brain than the other way around. So pickles, these are great pickles. You want pickles that are not made with vinegar. So the ingredients here are just cucumbers, water, salt, garlic, dill, spices, calcium chloride. So it is naturally fermented.
What
It's
does
not
vinegar do?
uh it pickles it, but it doesn't put the good culture in it.
Right.
So you're not getting the probiotics if
So
it's
you're
not.
wanting them to use things that have probiotics in them. Did it take a while for your kids to like that?
They loved this from day one.
Yeah, I would say most kids love the whole pickle thing. So,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. So, the best way to, the healthiest nuts would be soaked or sprouted. And so you can buy raw nuts, you can soak them overnight, you can dehydrate them yourself, or you can go buy them that way. I do buy my nuts at Wildly Organic online. It is shocking how much better they taste
Oh my
than
goodness, that's crazy
other
how much better they taste.
good quality nuts taste better. So I buy them already soaked and dehydrated. Then I put them in the jar because my family wants them, we're accustomed to salted, roasted, so they're kind of oily and salty. So I pour a little bit of olive oil in here and I put some coarse salt and they love it. So this is a good snack, although snacking is not wonderful because it spikes your glucose. We'd rather you just maybe eat 3 or 4 times a day, depending on the age of your kids. But this is great because it's got the fiber and it's got some really good fat in it. Olives, very good for fat. Very fun for kids to eat with their fingers. Just olives you want. Ingredients that you can pronounce. There's an ingredient that you kind of want to avoid is ferric. Is it ferric oxide?
Yeah.
When you read it, you're not going to know what it is. And so that's your clue that that's not the olive you want. Cheeses can be really, really good. Very good in high fat and protein. So it's kind of a nice, well-rounded food. Goat cheese and sheep cheese are the best. especially sheep, because they have the fats that are best to nourish your brain. So compared to cow cheese, this is better brain food. And it may be something where you kind of have to, if you get really high quality goat and sheep products, they taste good. If you get the more generic, less expensive ones, I don't like them. They
No.
taste good.
Yeah.
What do you think, Laurie?
Yeah, they just end up tasting goaty and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just, so high quality is great. Get some with herbs in it. And that kind of, first of all, herbs are really nourishing for us. They're very good with antioxidants, and that kind of changes the flavor. So cheese and nuts and Mary's crackers, great lunch, great snack. Put in a wedged apple. When I have an apple wedger, I would wedge my apple, I would squish it all back up because my daughter was so picky. If it was turning a little bit brown, she did not want it. Mom, why didn't you soak it in lemon? I'm
Huh?
like, you get up at 5:30 in the morning and soak your apples in lemon. Not gonna happen. And then you just squish it together with your bag and put a little twisty on it with, your paper bag, and it won't turn brown as fast. Granny Smith apples are better. They will not turn brown as fast, and they're lower in sugar. They're tart, and they're lower in sugar than the other apples. This is a lot of fun. Applegate, turkey, pepperoni. Fun finger food for kids. Your kids' classmates, if you're in public school, are eating Lunchables.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a great substitute for Lunchables. Then, of course, Applegate sandwich meat is also a good idea. If you've got older girls and they want salads, you can make your own salad dressing and just get one of these little jars and put olive oil and vinegar in it. Use flavored olive oil and infused vinegar. Now let's think about this. You can't infuse butter into olive oil. Olive oil that tastes like butter that's a flavor that they added. It's not infused. You can take olive oil and put rosemary in it, and it makes the olive oil taste like rosemary. So use a little common sense. Butter is pretty much the only one that I'll do. I'll go to the olive oil vinegar shop, and that's the only one that I pretty much won't eat. The way to know if olive oil is good is if you drink it and it burns the back of your throat and makes you cough. That tells you it's healthy olive oil. And then also get a little teeny glass container. You can get these at the health food store and put your own salt in it and throw that in your lunchbox. That's or a picnic basket if you're homeschooling.
Yeah.
And
Why is salt so important to the brain?
salt is so important because of the minerals. Healthy minerals are toxic metals block the mineral absorption in our bodies. And minerals actually are more important than vitamins. So just a little bit of sea salt is going to go a long way. It's a natural mineral supplement and it's well balanced. Does not have toxic processed ingredients in it. So just
Yeah. Don't
regular,
use table salt. Use a real salt.
not
It's like
that high.
yeah, it's like spark plugs to the brain.
Yeah. Then Paleo Valley beef sticks. Love these things. They're on sale right now. So that's a really good thing. And yogurt is powerful. The best one is coconut cult. You don't need very much of it. So this would be a really good like dessert. Have a couple of tablespoons of yogurt with some granola on top of it. Because again, your kids' friends are eating dessert, and if you don't give them something, they're going to mooch off of their friends and eat bad stuff. So find some good substitutes. And lots of water instead of soda. Infuse your water. You can just Google infused water, and you might find things like blueberry and cinnamon, which is really good, but I never would have thought about that together.
Hmm.
Strawberries and basil. Who would have thought to put basil in your water? I love cucumber peppermint infused water, and that makes it fun for your kids. Also, soda stream. You can make your own soda with a soda stream.
Yeah, and the kids surrounding your child will be like, they'll want their food. They
Yeah.
just will because kids just kind of intuitively know like that looks fun and exciting.
Mhm.
So I mean, granted, we homeschooled, but even kids that came over that
Yeah.
didn't eat like us, really like our food for the most part. I mean,
Yes,
you always have a few kids that are like,
exactly.
yeah, I'm not eating that.
Sure.
Um, but they don't eat anything, other than
Yeah.
mac and cheese. But um, yeah, kids really want to try different things. I think we just don't give them the opportunity to.
Exactly. And it really is easier when they're a guest. One of Stephen's friends would only eat broccoli at my house. One of Tara's friends would only eat meat at my house. When she got to
Funny.
middle school, she said, "Do you know what they feed those chickens in the feedlot?" And I'm like, "I do, but not this chicken." And she would eat meat when she was at our house. Otherwise, she was vegetarian, which is
Yeah.
not good for your brain
No, no. Explain why.
because it's not enough good fat. And it's not the kind of fat that the brain prefers. The
Right.
brain really likes that saturated fat from healthy animal products.
Yeah.
But you know what? I applaud every one of you for being here, for investing your time and your effort. It's a lot of work to be a good mom. And I know I'm being stereotypical, and there could be a lot of men on here. It's a lot of work being a good dad, too. It's a lot of work being a good homemaker.
Yes.
So I applaud you for doing that and especially homeschool. That's a lot of work too, and it's worth it. Your kids are worth it, and you are doing really good things here. And Laurie, thank you for putting this together. This is incredible. You're amazing.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And I thank you for taking time to, share all that stuff because you've gone before us, Tammy. Like your kids are grown and, it's not perfect, but you gave them so many tools to take with them. And I look at, my son who's now out of the house, I have a
Mhm.
grandbaby and those kind of things. And I see them implementing so many things that he learned at home. And because his wife didn't, know these things. And so just teaching her, like this is what we do. We buy grass-fed meat. And she's like, whoa, we we never did that. And he's like, well, that's the only thing we're going to buy,
Good.
because it's that important.
It is.
And, now they just butchered 200 of their own chickens and they're selling chickens. And, so it's just fun to see the fruit of the labor. And when you live by example, and these are things you don't have to make a big deal out of. Like Tammy is saying, just pick one thing and change it. So
Mhm.
change your eggs, like nobody's going to notice, right?
Right.
Or
Yep.
change your grass fed to grass fed beef. Not really anybody's going to notice. Your
Right.
husband might think he does, but I don't think he really does. Change your chips. Just pick something, the
Mhm.
lotion, the deodorant. And
Yep.
then once you're like, okay, that's good, then add the next thing into your
Yep.
budget. And you'll find that it actually, your budget goes a lot further than you think it does because you're not actually consuming all the other things.
Right.
Um,
It does.
it's amazing. Like
Mhm.
we don't spend that much on things. So
Right. When I first became a practitioner, one of our clients compared the diet she used to eat with lots of boxes and bags and processed packaged foods versus real food, she was spending less money.
yes.
And when
Yeah.
you feed your body poison, it's never nourished. It wants more, more, more.
Yeah.
And when you eat nourishing foods, then you can pay the farmer or the pharmacist.
Yeah.
It's your only choice.
It is your only choice. And I love the fact that you preach that from the mountaintops all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So thank you, thank you, thank you,
You're
Tammy. We
welcome.
appreciate you so
My
much. Make sure I put all your information in the chat, but of course, you guys are going to get all that via email and everything. And make sure you sign up for the VIP package so that you can share this talk with everybody else and you can go back and listen because Tammy gave us oodles of information today. I tried to type it all in the chat, but there's no way I could have gotten it all in there. So, yeah, thank you all for it. And now we're going to switch to Allie McLean. And so thank you so much, Tammy.
thank
Love you.
you.
Love you. Love you.
Very good.